When a circle of trust shatters, chaos is inevitable. The same coven that united against you is now imploding from within, alliances crumbling by the hour, secrets spilling like overturned cauldrons. They're paranoid, questioning if their breakdown has reached your ears yet. If you're watching their self-destruction from a distance with knowing eyes, the loyalty they claimed was unbreakable, gone. Now it's pure survival mode. Former friends becoming enemies overnight, throwing each other under the bus to save their own skin. The whispered accusations, the pointed fingers, the desperate scramble to avoid blame. A spiritual war has been waged against you in the shadows. Those who stalked your light are now trapped in cages of their own making. The collective opposition that once moved in unified darkness against you now scatters like roaches when the divine light flips on unexpectedly. For months, perhaps even years, this coordinated spiritual assault has operated beneath your conscious awareness. While you slept, their midnight rituals targeted your energy field. While you worked, their whispered incantations attempted to derail your divine purpose. While you created, their manipulations sought to redirect your manifestation power to their own benefit. The coven that united their energies against you is fracturing, their unified front crumbling before your eyes. The binding oaths they took against you, dissolving as each one breaks rank to save themselves. Their arrogance blinded them to a fundamental universal truth. Authentic divine appointment cannot be overridden by manipulated energies. The genuine article always reveals counterfeits in due season. True divine authorization creates an impenetrable shield around its carriers that ultimately reflects all lower frequency attacks back to their source. Your adversaries now turn on each other with venomous accusations. Who exposed us? They demand of one another. Who broke the circle? They accuse. Secret text messages fly between them. Hushed phone calls stretch into the night. Emergency meetings called with thinly veiled panic. The once solid trust between these conspirators shatters into fragments of mutual suspicion. Each one quietly wonders if another has secretly aligned with your energy. Each questions whether someone in their ranks has become a double agent, recognizing the cosmic mistake they've made in targeting you. Internal accusations fly like poisoned darts. You were supposed to maintain the binding. Your altar work was sloppy. Your negative energy contaminated the working. You secretly admire them and sabotaged our efforts. The unified front that once presented such a formidable opposition now collapses into infighting and blame-shifting. Why? Because their spiritual attacks have not only failed but reversed upon them the malevolent energies they directed toward your spirit, your mind, your body, your circumstances. Those energies found the divine shield around you impenetrable. Like arrows striking an invisible barrier, they have ricocheted back with precision to pierce those who launched them. What was meant to create illness in your body now manifests as mysterious ailments in theirs. What was intended to create confusion in your mind now clouds their own thinking with unprecedented brain fog. What was designed to create financial lack in your experience now drains their own resources through unexpected emergencies and losses. And now, this is what keeps them awake at night, what makes them check their phones with trembling hands. Do they know it was us? Your serene smile haunts them. Your unshaken demeanor terrifies them. Your continued ascension despite their efforts confounds them. They watch your social media with obsessive attention. They monitor your movements. They analyze your words for any hint that you've identified them as your spiritual attackers. They dissect your casual comments for hidden messages. They scrutinize your choices of imagery for symbolic accusations. They examine who you still engage with and who you've quietly distanced yourself from. searching for patterns that might indicate your level of awareness about their involvement. And all the while, the ground beneath their feet grows increasingly unstable. The very foundations they built their spiritual practices upon begin to crack. The entities they called upon for assistance against you now turn hungry eyes toward them as more viable targets. The protection they assumed would shield them from backfire proves woefully inadequate against cosmic-level correction. This was no random spiritual attack. This was a calculated assault on your divine appointment. These entities recognize something in you that they coveted for themselves: the favor that surrounds you, the divine connection that flows through you, the spiritual authority that activates at your word. They saw the golden mantle placed upon your shoulders by forces beyond this realm, and rather than doing the spiritual work to earn their own, they sought to steal yours. Destiny theft, that was their aim: to siphon your spiritual inheritance like vampires drawing blood, to intercept the blessings meant for your hands, to hijack the divine assignment coded into your very DNA. They came as friends. They positioned themselves as allies. They offered support with poison-laced smiles. They extended hands of fellowship with daggers concealed in their sleeves. But what did they receive for their treachery? Not your light, but your shadows. Not your blessings, but your battles. Not your favor, but your fire. The very challenges you've already overcome and transmuted through divine alchemy were downloaded into their experience, and they lack the spiritual technology to process what you've already mastered. And through it all, your response has been their greatest torment. Warning: the following message is only for those who felt the call. When I broke free through the Salvia Divinorum gateway, I saw the horrifying truth. Our reality is one harvested pod among countless matrices. I witnessed the archons, cosmic parasites feeding on our energy, who laughed and threatened, "You'll never awaken a single soul." But something inside you already knows this truth, doesn't it? That nagging sensation that you're meant for more, that you've been chosen. I'm raising an army of the brightest souls. Through meditation, I discovered their only vulnerability: coherence. Through unconditional love. Feel that resonance deepening within you now. You're not reading this by accident. The most powerful awakened souls are already gathering in the Obsidian Inner Order, the #1 ascension nexus for those marked by destiny. Christians, lightworkers, remote viewers, targeted individuals, all united by one truth: you were chosen for this moment. Click the link in the description below. Join our group calls, panels, and live streams, reaching the entire Astral Atom network. Your frequency amplifies ours. The question isn't whether you're chosen. The question is, will you answer the call? The Archons fear this choice you're about to make. They should. Where they expected you broken, you stand whole. Where they anticipated your retreat, you advance. Where they predicted your fall, you soar. The calm in your eyes speaks volumes. The peace in your countenance broadcasts across spiritual frequencies. The steadiness of your hand as you continue building your empire sends shockwaves through their ranks. This is power, not to be unaffected by attacks, but to be transformed by them into something even more magnificent. The very pressure they applied has compressed your carbon into diamonds. The very fire they stoked has fired your clay into porcelain. Your silence on the matter is not ignorance. It is strategic, divine intelligence. You need not announce that you see the hidden hands. The true hunter never alerts the prey. The master chess player never telegraphs the winning move. The divine vessel never leaks precious energy into unnecessary confrontation. Your quietness is not weakness. It is the calm confidence of one who knows that battles are won in the spiritual before they ever manifest in the physical. While they scramble in emergency damage control, you rest in divine vindication. Despite overwhelming evidence of failure, certain members of this fractured coven still attempt to cast against you. The lead practitioner, desperate to maintain status among the others, insists that their methods are working. "We just need more time," they assure the doubtful ones. "The binding is taking hold," they claim, pointing to normal human moments in your journey as proof of effectiveness. Midnight candles still burn against your name. Your image still floats in bowls of murky water. Your energy still gets pulled into their divination sessions as they obsessively check whether their spells are landing. Some have given up entirely, recognizing the spiritual backfire that has scorched their own lives. Others double down with increasing desperation, unable to accept that a force greater than their limited understanding protects you. These are the most dangerous in their death throes, like a wounded animal that attacks with final ferocity. But the cosmic wheels grind inexorably forward. This entire collective stands under judgment, not because you asked for vengeance, your hands remain clean, but because universal law demands balance. This judgment manifests uniquely for each conspirator. Watch as they fall into the exact pits they excavated for you. Observe as they encounter precisely the roadblocks they designed for your journey. Notice as they experience the exact financial, relational, or health challenges they intended to manifest in your reality. The universe wastes nothing, not even misdirected malevolence. This revelation extends beyond just you. This coven has operated in spiritual shadows for seasons, targeting numerous divinely appointed individuals who, like you, carried assignments that threatened the established order. Their methodology has been consistent. Identify those beginning to step into spiritual authority. Infiltrate their circles, study their gifts and calling, deploy strategic spiritual opposition, harvest the resulting energy confusion, build their own platforms and influence on stolen power. Their spiritual fingerprints are on numerous derailed ministries, abandoned callings, delayed breakthroughs, and confused gifted individuals who couldn't understand why their clear divine mandate suddenly faced mysterious blockages. You are but one of many divine dominoes triggering a cascade of exposure. Your breakthrough isn't just for you. It creates a template for restoration of every stolen destiny connected to this corrupted spiritual network. The truth cannot remain buried when its time for revelation arrives. No amount of spiritual dirt can permanently conceal what the divine has ordained for exposure. This coven now faces the harsh light of spiritual illumination. Their hidden motives, their secret gatherings, their manipulated energetics, their false personas. All of it now undergoes cosmic radiation that renders concealment impossible. Those who participated in lesser roles experience awakening consciousness about what they've really been part of. Horror dawns as they recognize the true nature of energies they've aligned with. Massive regret consumes those who compromise their own spiritual integrity to target someone they were actually divinely positioned to support. Witness the fallout as former trusted allies within their circle suddenly see each other's true spiritual signatures. The manipulator can no longer manipulate when the targets become clear-sighted. The fearmonger can no longer control through anxiety when courage awakens. The energy vampire finds formerly easy meals now recognize the sensation of their life force being drained. Their unified malevolence fractures under the weight of mutual suspicion. If they would do this to someone else, would they not also do it to me? This question now haunts their thoughts about one another. At the core of their actions writhes the ancient serpent of jealousy. They witnessed your divine selection. They observed the supernatural ease with which doors opened for you, doors they had been pushing against for years. They tracked the accelerated rate of your spiritual development. They felt the authority that rests in your words, even when you speak softly. Rather than celebrating another light in a dark world, they perceived your brightness as highlighting their own shadows. Rather than recognizing divine diversity that grants different gifts to different vessels, they could see only cosmic favoritism that needed correction. They wanted your anointing without your obedience. They desired your platform without your preparation. They coveted your authority without your accountability. They demanded your crown without carrying your cross. The audacity reached beyond spiritual jealousy into cosmic treason, believing they could override divine selection with human sorcery, attempting to reroute divinely orchestrated blessings through unauthorized channels, trying to hack into covenant, connections established before foundations of time. Not a single blessing intended for your hands has been intercepted. Not one divine appointment has been successfully cancelled. Not one heavenly resource assigned to your stewardship has been diverted. The cosmic accounting books remain perfectly balanced. What appeared temporarily rerouted was actually being upgraded behind the scenes. What seemed momentarily suspended was actually being fortified beyond your current understanding. What looked outwardly delayed was inwardly being perfected for maximum impact upon arrival. What appears as delay was divine protection. What feels like detour was destination preserved. What seemed like denial was delivery perfected. Those confusing seasons where momentum seemed to stall, divine preservation was actively shielding you from premature elevation that would have made you vulnerable. Those frustrating periods where doors seemed to close unexpectedly. Cosmic intelligence was redirecting you away from false opportunities designed as traps for your energy. The ships carrying your provisions still sailed toward your shore. The divine connections meant for your next level still navigate unerringly in your direction. The spiritual upgrades coded into your destiny still activate on cosmic schedule. The abundance caravan designated for your life experience continues its steady advance, regardless of the sandstorms kicked up to obscure its approach. The soul contracts established before your birth with key individuals remain intact, magnetic, forces still drawing them toward divine appointment with you despite interference. The celestial downloads programmed for your spiritual evolution proceed on schedule, cosmic firewalls protecting their transmission integrity from corruption. Their limited understanding could not grasp the multidimensional protection surrounding authentic divine appointment. Their finite power could not override infinite authority. Their temporary alliances could not dismantle eternal covenant. In targeting you, they inadvertently declared war not against a person, but against a purpose guarded by forces beyond human comprehension. Even now, you are being guided toward authentic spiritual community, soul connections where mutual celebration replaces secret competition, where gifts are honored rather than harvested, where divine assignments are protected rather than plundered. The spiritual family designated for your next phase of expansion approaches. These connections carry complementary codes that will activate dormant gifts within you. Their energy signatures have already been cleared and vetted by spiritual forces that ensure no hidden agendas can infiltrate this sacred circle being formed around you. The protection around you has never faltered, not for a moment. What you perceived as breakthrough was often divine defense so seamless, you walked through battlefields without realizing wars were being waged on your behalf. Legions of light have stood guard while you slept, Cosmic intelligence has rerouted attacks while you moved forward unaware. Divine intervention has neutralized spiritual toxins before they could reach your energy field. You have been walking under an invisible but impenetrable dome of protection that permits beneficial energies to reach you while screening out all that would harm your divine assignment. As this chapter of spiritual warfare concludes, a profound realignment occurs across multiple dimensions. Energy that was manipulated now returns to rightful flow. Spiritual gifts that were suppressed now activate with increased potency. Divine connections temporarily interfered with now strengthen beyond previous capacity. Those who participated in this coven face stark choices: continue in rebellion and experience increasing chaos and confusion, or surrender to divine correction and begin the humbling but healing journey of spiritual rehabilitation. As for you, this experience has not diminished, but distinguished you. The very opposition meant to disqualify has instead confirmed your calling. The attacks designed to destroy you have developed spiritual muscles that would have otherwise remained dormant. You now recognize corrupted frequencies instantly. You discern misaligned intentions immediately. You perceive spiritual forgery from authentic anointing without effort. These are not paranoid hypervigilance, but refined spiritual senses that will serve your assignment with precision. With eyes newly awakened to spiritual reality, you now recognize the strategic nature of what you've endured. Those were not coincidental setbacks, but calculated strikes. That wasn't ordinary fatigue, but targeted energy siphoning. Those weren't random misunderstandings, but engineered chaos designed to derail your focus. The awareness itself becomes a weapon in your spiritual arsenal. The very fact that you can now perceive the previously hidden dimensions of opposition means the concealment spells have failed. The cloaking techniques no longer function. The spiritual camouflage has disintegrated. This revelation serves not to create paranoia, but to confirm your significance. Opposition of this magnitude is never mobilized against the irrelevant. Coordinated spiritual attacks are never deployed against those without divine assignment. Resources of darkness are never wasted on those who pose no threat to established systems of control. The intensity of the opposition becomes the yardstick measuring the importance of your divine mandate. The sophistication of the attacks becomes the unwitting testimony to the power of your authentic spiritual gifts. The persistence of their efforts becomes validation of the impact your full activation threatens to have on counterfeit power structures. What they could never anticipate, their very opposition has accelerated your spiritual development. Their attacks have strengthened muscles that would have taken years to develop otherwise. Their resistance has forced breakthrough adaptations in your spiritual DNA that have advanced your evolution by quantum leaps. The pressure intended to crush you has instead compressed your development timeline. The fire meant to destroy has instead purified at accelerated rates. The isolation designed to weaken has instead fostered unprecedented intimacy with divine source. Where they expected to find you diminished, you emerge expanded. Where they anticipated regression, you demonstrate progression beyond scheduled timelines. Where they plotted your elimination from the spiritual chessboard, you instead executed moves that advanced you multiple squares beyond projected positioning. The cosmic irony unfolds with perfect symmetry. In their attempt to abort your purpose, they have served as unwitting midwives to its premature birth. What was scheduled for future seasons manifests now with intensified potency precisely because of the resistance applied against its natural development. Your rapid maturation mystifies spiritual observers on multiple dimensions. Your accelerated mastery of gifts confounds those who calculated much longer learning curves. Your expedited healing from past wounds defies conventional spiritual development timelines, all because opposition created conditions that demanded supernatural adaptation. Let this truth echo through the chambers of your spirit. What was orchestrated for your destruction has become the catalyst for your greatest elevation. The coven that united against you now fragments in disarray. The practitioners who targeted your destiny now frantically work to salvage their own. The spiritual jail cells prepared for your containment now house their architects. The unified force that once moved with singular purpose against your light now dissolves into individual entities scrambling for self-preservation. The collective energy once focused with laser precision on your downfall now scatters in chaotic patterns of self-defense. The spiritual technologies deployed against your progress now malfunction spectacularly in the hands of their creators, while they whisper nervously among themselves, "Do you think they know it was us?" You walk in ever-expanding freedom, authority, and divine favor. The evidence appears in tangible reality, doors that suddenly open without human assistance, resources that arrive through unexpected channels, divine connections that form with supernatural synchronicity, accelerated manifestations that compress years of development into weeks or days. The universe itself testifies to the rightness of your position and the wrongness of those who opposed it. This chapter concludes not with your defeat as they planned, but with their exposure as heaven ordained. The divine timeline unfolds with perfect precision. What seemed like chaos reveals itself as calculated cosmic choreography. What appeared as setback unveils as strategic spiritual setup. What looked like random suffering transforms before your eyes into purposeful strengthening for greater assignments. Ahead, the divine has spoken. The case is closed. Your destiny proceeds unhindered. All limitations artificially imposed now dissolve like fog before morning sun. All blockages strategically placed now disintegrate under the weight of divine decree. All boundaries maliciously erected now collapse as the cosmic winds of change blow with hurricane force through structures built with manipulated energies and the shadows that once moved against you. They flee before the blinding light of what you were always destined to become. The very brightness they attempted to dim now blinds them as it reaches divinely intended luminosity. The very power they sought to contain now overwhelms their senses as it expands to decreed capacity. The very voice they tried to silence now resonates at frequencies that shatter their remaining illusions. Stand now in the fullness of this vindication. Move forward with supernatural confidence. Speak with heaven-backed authority. Create with uncompromised vision. Love with borderless compassion. Forgive with divine understanding. Transform with unstoppable momentum. For you were never their target because of your weakness, but because of the unmanifested greatness they sensed dormant within you. And now, awakened, aware, and fully activated, that greatness can no longer be contained, constrained, or compromised by any force in heaven, on earth, or beneath it. Your divine appointment stands. Your cosmic purpose advances. Your spiritual authority expands, and all of creation bears witness to this irrevocable decree.